Good day, students. So we are now on this topic compensation. So we're done with motivation. So we will now proceed to compensation. In fact, I was able to discuss part of this already under job analysis. Okay, that is a job evaluation. So in the topic job evaluation, I discussed to you how to compute for the pay or how we come up with pay, should I say, for a particular job. So let's elaborate on that topic here under compensation. Okay, so let's start with, okay, here are the objectives for this topic. We will differentiate the types of financial rewards, describe equity and its impact on pay rates, uncover methods to address equity issues, and distinguish the types and know the process of job evaluation, and describe comparable worth and the factors affecting women's earning. So let's start. First, let's try to define what is employee compensation. So what is employee compensation? This is all forms of pay or rewards going to employees and arising from their employment. In short, if this is your job and you perform for that job, you're going to receive a pay. And that pay is called compensation. Okay. So we have two main components here. Yung tinatawag nating direct financial payments and indirect financial payments. The direct financial payments, these are pay in forms of wages, salaries, incentives, commissions, or pwede rin bonuses. Okay, so in short, it talks about money. That's direct financial payments. Meron din tayong tinatawag na indirect financial payments. This is money din, pero indirect siya. Like your insurance, kung mayroon naman doon sa isang company, yung insurance ng employee. Okay? So that can be an indirect financial payments. Okay? So these are the two main components of compensation. Yung iba nare-receive nila na pera like salary. Yung iba naman indirect siya, pero may katumbas yun naman. Okay. So we have here types of financial rewards in the workplace. The first is membership and seniority-based. Meron din tayong job status-based, competency-based, and performance-based. So isa-isahin natin to ngayon. Okay, so let's start with membership or seniority-based rewards. So this is reward or these are rewards employees on the basis of being parts of the organization and years rendered. So sample of membership or seniority-based rewards are the following. One is fixed pay. Okay, other most employees benefits like ano na benefits natin? Yung iba nakaka-receive sila ng loyalty award or loyalty pay, gano'n, no? So, pwede rin yun dito or pwede rin paid time off. So, meron kang time off, kunyari Monday to buong week, no? Isang week na nasa vacation ka pero bayad yung 5 days na yun. Okay, so pwedeng gawin natin yun sa mga employees natin, yung mga matatagal na sa company natin. So we give rewards to those employees na matatanda na sa company. Hindi sa matanda, pero yung matagal nang nagtatrabaho sa company. So ito yung mga examples. Advantage para dito, guaranteed wages may attract job applicants, and seniority-based rewards reduce turnover. So kapag tumataas or binibigyan natin sila ng mga rewards habang tumatagal sila sa workplace, so ang tendency nun, hindi sila nagre-resign. So nare-reduce yung ating turnover rates in the company. The disadvantages are the following: doesn't motivate job performance. So it doesn't mean na pag binigay mo itong reward na ito sa mga employees ay magpe-perform well sila. Okay? Next, discourages poor performers from leaving. O there are possibilities or there's a possibility na matagal na siya sa company pero hindi maganda yung kanyang performance. Pero nag stay siya kasi alam niya na mari-reward din siya for the years rendered. So, no, yung company kahit gusto niya sana mag-resign na 'to, sana umalis na, kaso hindi siya umalis, eh. Why? Because of this reward given to employee dahil sa years rendered nila sa company. Next is golden handcuff. No, tie people to the job because of generous benefits that generate continuance rather than effective commitment. Pag effective commitment, you are staying in the company because you love what you're doing. Okay, yung continuance, kumbaga parang, obliged ka to do it, no? Like, you're not moving out, no? You're staying kasi um, kailangan, no? Kailangan mo magstay. So, maybe because of the pay they gave you, no? So, kailangan ko magstay kasi sinong gagawa nito kung wala ako, parang gano'n, no? So they are staying because of continuous commitment, not because they love the job. Okay, so yun yung possible na consequence nito. Okay, so may disadvantage, meron din advantage. Next is the job status-based reward. The rewards employees on the basis of status or worth of the jobs they occupy, includes job evaluation and status perks. So what is job evaluation? This is systematically rates the worth of the jobs within an organization by measuring their required skills, efforts, responsibility, and working conditions. So I discussed this already with the job analysis before in chapter 2. Okay, so as you can see here, no, mayroon tayong job status, nakadepende sa trabaho niya, no, yung kanyang pay, no, or reward na natatanggap, no? And that's job status-based reward. So, dito, syempre, paano natin yung na-identify yung kanyang pay or reward? That's based on the job evaluation. Okay? By looking into the worth of the job in the company. So another terminology here is example rewards. Now, this is promotion-based pay increased, status-based benefits such as large offices and company-paid vehicles. So let's say dahil na-promote ka, binigyan ka ng sasakyan, or tinaas yung sahod mo, that's an example of job status-based reward. Under sample under um this kind of reward, the job status based reward. So tandaan nyo lang lagi, pag yung membership, seniority yan, tagal. Kapag job status, this is about the position you're holding. Yun yung basis ng pagbibigay ng reward sa'yo. Okay, advantages of this: tries to maintain internal equity, minimizes pay discrimination, and motivates employee to compete, should I say, compete for promotion. So, dahil dito, magkakaroon ng kasikatan, pagalingan. Disadvantage: encourage hierarchy, which may increase costs and reduce responsiveness. Okay. Siyempre, pag nagpro-promote ka, ang daming ranks niyan, no? So, dahil doon, parang bureaucracy yung dating. Madaming level yung org structure natin. Yung nasa baba, second, third, hanggang sa pinakamataas na posisyon. So, yun yung tendency nito pag ganito. Okay. So, minsan, yung nasa baba, hindi na naririnig nung nasa taas kasi sa sobrang dami ng level. Hindi nagiging responsive. Okay, what else reinforces status differences? So, may hierarchy nga, may mababa, may mataas. Ganun. Motivates job competition and exaggerated job work. O minsan, healthy ang competition, pero kapag too much competition in the workplace, that could lead to a problem. Okay, next is competency-based reward. This rewards an employee on the basis of their assessed competencies ng kanilang KSAOs and whether they actually use those in their current job. So, yung paggamit ng KSAOs sa trabaho. So, here, meron tayong tinatawag na skill-based pay. This is a more specific variation of competency-based reward in which people receive higher pay based on their mastery of measurable skills. So, it depends on your skills at kung nag-apply mo yung trabaho na yun or yung skills na yun, should I say, sa iyong trabaho, then you will be paid according to your skill set. Okay, kung paano mo ginamit yung skills na yun. So, we call that skill-based pay. So, samples for this is pay increase based on competency. No, and next is skill-based pay. Like what I've said, you are being paid based on your skills. Okay, kung paano mo in-apply or nagamit mo ba yun sa iyong trabaho. Usually, sa mga skilled worker, madalas nabibigay ito. Okay? So, that is competency-based reward. Advantage, motivates employees to learn new skills and they tend to improve the quality with multi-skilled employee. Disadvantage, subjective measurement of competencies. Ayun lang problem natin dito, no? So, and skill-based plans are expensive because employees spend more time learning new skills. Okay? So, here, no, reward practices at occur. We have an example here. So, here, the Nukers survived and thrive in the turbulent steel industry by motivating employees with team-based and organizational-based rewards. So sabi nila that we pay a real low base wage but high bonuses on weekly basis. So konti lang yung pinapasahod sa manpower pero may bonus sila natatanggap weekly. Okay? And the bonuses are based on the quality and tons produced and shipped through the team. So, kung gaano yung na-accomplish nila. So, yun, doon naka-based yung, this one, yung kanilang bonus per week. Diba? So, in relation to that, we have here yung performance-based reward. Okay? This rewards employees on basis of high levels of performance. So you learn more when you produce more, and you earn less when you produce less. So example of this is to pay for performance. So you perform, dahil nag-perform ka, makaka-receive ka ng maybe compensation or rewards. So this is the incentive based on objective performance measures such as sales and productivity. This is also known as earning at risk or the EAR. Meron din tayong tinatawag na merit pay. So this is the incentives based on subjective performance measures such as performance appraisal scores good techniques for job in which productivity is difficult to measure. So, pwede rin tayo magbigay ng merit pay. Of course, it depends on the performance ng isang um, employee. Okay? So, magkakandak tayo ng performance appraisal. So, nakadepende doon yung merit pay na ibibigay natin doon sa isang employee. Okay? So, here are the examples of performance-based reward. Meron tayong individual reward, like bonuses. Sa sales, pag sobra-sobra yung kinita nila, yung may commission yung nakukuha yung tao. Then meron tayong piece rate, kung every accomplishment na natapos mo, binibigyan ka ng reward, depende sa natapos, kung ilan. No, and we also have your team rewards. We provide also bonuses per team or pwede rin gain sharing. Ano yung gain sharing? This is a team-based reward that calculates bonuses from the work unit's cost, savings, and productivity improvement. So, titignan yung savings nyo dun sa project maybe, tapos paghahati-hatian nyo. Okay? So, that's gain sharing. Or pwede rin sa kita, no? And another is organizational reward. Under this, pwede tayo magkaroon ng profit sharing, ownership sharing, or share ownership, and stock options, and balance scorecard. So I think my profit sharing is an organization-based reward that pay bonuses to employees on the basis of previous year's level of corporate profits. So kung ilan yung kinita nyo last year, no, doon nakabase yung ibibigay nilang bonus nila. Okay? And, or doon nila kukunin yung bonus na ibibigay nila doon sa employees. Another is stock option. This is a reward system that gives employees the right to purchase company stock at a future date at a predatory price. So in this case, you will give stock sa mga employees mo in a form of reward. Okay. Next, employee stock ownership plan, or the ESOP. This is a reward system that encourages employees to buy company stocks at special prices. So, kung binibenta yan ng malaki, sa kanila, may bawas, may discount, ganon. Okay? So, we can do this. So, yung gain sharing, that's under group or team level or reward. These three are examples of organizational rewards. Okay. Now let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of these rewards. So for the advantages, it motivates task performance. They attract performance-oriented applicants. And organizational rewards create ownership culture. Yung pagbibigay ng stocks kasi, no? Profit sharing may avoid layoff during downturns because of its variability. The disadvantage is it weakens job content motivation, may distance reward giver from the receiver, and may discourage creativity, tends to address symptoms, not underlying causes of behavior. Ito lang yung concern natin na sa pagbibigay ng reward based on performance. So usually, ano na lang, natatandaan nyo yung diniscuss ko sa motivation, yung nagiging extrinsic na dati intrinsically motivated, naging weak yun because of the external reward. Okay? So, that can be a problem when it comes to performance-based reward. So, pag hindi na nagbigay ng reward, wala na, demotivated na siya or discouraged na siya. Okay, and sometimes because of performance, nakafocus na yung tao doon sa quantity, not the quality. Next, it's improving reward effectiveness. So to improve the reward effectiveness, we have to link reward to performance. The better performers should be rewarded more than poor performers. Dapat ma-emphasize to, no? And we have to use objective performance measures. So very, very essential dito yung performance appraisal system. And rely on multiple sources of information, not only one, hindi lang isa ang rater natin. Okay, reward soon after the performance occur. Of course, hindi yung tapos na yung performance rating, magre-reward ka next year, no? Parang ang tagal, hindi man ma-feel agad no employee. Kumbaga parang sa contest, pag nanalo ka, no, dapat right after the competition, i-announce yung pagkapanalo mo. Pero inantay pa na lumipas ang isang buwan bago i-announce, di ba? So, nawala na yung momentum. Okay, next is use large enough dose. Of course, enough lang dapat yung bonus or reward na ibigay natin. Okay. So that employees experience positive emotions when they receive the reward. Next, ensure that rewards are relevant. It should be aligned with the performance within employees' control. Next is use reward for interdependent jobs. Okay? And ensure that rewards are valued. Ito yung application ng mga theories sa motivation, no? Yung may valence, expectancy, instrumentality, and valence. And do not make false assumption about what employee wants. You have to ask them. Sometimes you have to ask them. Okay? Then watch out for unintended consequences, like a pilot project before applying across the organization. Okay, next, let's move on to competitive strategy and compensation. So here, we have to align reward strategy. Okay, so for the employer, create a bundle of rewards, a total reward package, specifically aimed to or at eliciting the employee behavior or behaviors the firm needs to support and achieve its competitive strategy. So very, very essential itong role ng employer. No, we have to make sure na aligned lahat, no? The reward package, okay, the performance, and you have to make sure na yung reward na yun will elicit employee behavior. Okay? Para maging competitive sila, gawin nila yung trabaho nila. Next is, when it comes to HR compensation manager, write the policy. So, sa side ng HR, they have to write the policy in conjunction with top management in a manner such that the policy are consistent with the firm's strategic aims. Okay? Next, equity and its impact on pay rates. We talk about equity theory in the topic motivation. So let's try to apply equity in the compensation by looking into its impact on pay rates. So employees are strongly motivated to maintain a balance between what they perceive as contribution or their contribution or input and their rewards. Nakita naman natin yan, no? Kapag ito yung input niya, dapat equal yun doon sa output or outcome and rewards, no? So this one states that if a person perceive an inequity, the person will be motivated to reduce or eliminate the tension by perceiving or by perceived inequity. Okay? So, kaya as much as possible, we make sure na balance yan. Okay? Next is, we have here the 4 forms of equity. First is external equity, how a job pay rate in one company compares to the job pay rate in other companies. So we have to also look into the external equity. So if this is the salary of a teacher in this company, dapat no, halos pareho lang sila, no, or hindi nagkakalayo doon sa sahod na binibigay no, sa mga teachers sa ibang organization or company. No? So by comparing this, what we're doing is external equity. Okay, so dapat may external equity, halos same or equal yung sahod sa loob at labas or ibang companies. No. Then next is internal equity, how fair the job's pay rate is when compared to the other jobs within the same company. So, na-discuss natin ito doon sa job evaluation last time. So, within the company, may mga pay lahat ng trabaho dyan. So, in job analysis, we're comparing all the jobs. No? Tapos sa job evaluation, tinitignan natin yung worth ng bawat trabaho. So, as we compare the worth of each job to each other, na-identify natin kung aling trabaho ang dapat kailangan ng malaking sahod at alin ang mababang sahod. So, we have to make sure na fair yung pagbigay natin ng pay rate sa bawat trabaho sa loob ng isang company. And that is internal equity. Okay. Next is individual equity. The fairness of an individual's pay as compared with what his or her coworkers are earning from the same or very similar jobs within the company, based on each individual's performance. So there's fairness naman here when it comes to individual pay. So every employee, kunyari si employee A, employee B, pareho lang sila ng ginawa. So dapat kung ilan yung na-receive ni employee A, ganun din yung marireceive ni employee B. So kapag pareho sila, no, same job, same effort, same reward, then nagkakaroon ng individual equity. Okay? So next naman is procedural equity, the perceived fairness of the processes and procedures used to make decision regarding the allocation of pay. So this talks about the process and procedures. The way you conduct job analysis and job evaluation, fair ba yung pag-evaluate mo ng trabaho, pag-analyze mo ng trabaho, and pag-come up mo ng salary grade para sa isang trabaho. If that's fair, then we are talking about the procedural equity. Okay? So dito ang focus yung process, nagpag-come up ng salary or pay sa isang trabaho. Kung fair ba or hindi. Okay. So let's move now to the methods addressed by the equity issues. Okay. In terms of salary surveys, to monitor and maintain external equity, kailangan tayo from time to time nagkakandak ng salary surveys. Okay? To maintain internal equity naman, no, we have to conduct job analysis and job evaluation. To maintain individual equity, kailangan mag-conduct tayo ng performance appraisal at may maganda tayong performance appraisal system and incentive pay. Okay? And to help ensure that employees view the pay process as transparent and fair, okay, we have to communicate the process as much as possible. No? Then, dapat meron tayong grievance mechanisms. When you say grievance mechanisms, ito yung anong gagawin natin sa mga employees in case hindi maganda yung kanilang performance or may na-violate sila within the company. So, paano yung pagdidisiplin natin sa kanila? That's part of grievance mechanism. Okay, and employee participation. Okay? So, you have to make sure na gagawin natin itong mga to so we can promote yung tinatawag natin na procedural equity. Okay? So, let's now move on to establishing pay rates. Paano tayo nag-establish ng salary or sahod? The first step is the salary survey. So this aimed to determine prevailing wage rates. And a good salary survey provides specific wage rates for specific jobs. So pwede tayong nag-survey sa community, sa iba't ibang companies. Alamin natin kung ilan yung sahod o pinapasahod nila sa iba't ibang klase ng trabaho. Okay? Then, there should be a formal written questionnaire survey and dapat comprehensive. But sometimes telephone survey and newspaper ads are also sources of information. Minsan nga sa mga job postings natin like in recruitment or wherein we are posting the salary or job salary of the job. So pwedeng dun tayo makakuha no ng information kung ilan yung salary na binibigay nila sa isang trabaho. Okay? Or we can simply conduct benchmark. Benchmarking job. This is a job that's used or that is used to anchor employers' pay scale and around which other jobs are arranged in order of relative worth. So, pwede tayong mag-conduct ng benchmarking sa iba't ibang companies. Okay? Next, pag meron na tayo ng survey na yon, may result na yon. Okay? The next step is job evaluation. This is a systematic comparison done in order to determine the worth of one job relative to another. So, ito yung itinuro ko na last time sa job analysis. So, of course, we have to identify the compensable factors. Ano yung compensable factors? These are fundamental compensable elements of a job, such as the skills, the efforts, responsibilities, and working condition. So, lahat ito, identify natin, makikita natin once we conduct job analysis. So, lalagay tayo ng karampatang rating scales or scale kung ilan yung mga points per sa skill, sa effort, responsibility, and working conditions. Then we compute to check kung sino sa mga trabaho or kung ano sa mga trabaho ang dapat bigyan ng malaking salary. Okay. So, this is an example. Example of compensable factors. Yeah. Consequences of errors on the job, physical demands, mental demands, working conditions, education required, training experience requirement, level of responsibility and skill required. So, for example, we have here education. No? So, sa education, may high school, 2 years of college, bachelor's degree, master's degree, PhD. So, dapat maglalagay tayo ng points. Ilan ang points natin for high school? Let's say 40 points. Pag 2 years of college, 80 points. Bachelor's degree, 120. Then master's degree, 160. And PhD, 200. So, kunyari, we call this one teacher. So, ang requirement dyan, dapat master's degree. So, dahil master's degree, yung requirements sa teacher, sa education niya, meron na siyang 160 points. And then, titignan na naman natin yung responsibility. Yung isang teacher ba na gumagawa ng desisyon? No? Hindi siya gumagawa ng desisyon. Gumagawa siya ng desisyon para sa 5 empleyado, para sa 10 empleyado, lahat. Gagawa natin yan ng rating scales. Okay? So, then, kung ano man yung score niya dito, kunyari nagde-decide siya para sa self niya at sa 5 empleyado, then kung 225 yung points natin doon, i-add lang natin yon 160 for the master's degree and 225 for the responsibility. Hanggang sa matapos natin, pati yung physical demand, ito total natin lahat yan. So pag nakuha natin yung total, okay, i-compare natin yan sa ibang trabaho sa loob ng company. Okay? And then later on, i-arrange natin yan from highest to lowest. And then we come up with a salary grade para sa mga to. So yung pinakamababa, pwedeng SG1, SG2, SG3, SG4, pataas. So that's it. Of course, you have to consider the minimum wage. Okay? So dapat yung pinakamababa nasa minimum wage siya. Okay? So next, here's the fourth step in job evaluation using the point method. Actually, na-discuss ko na, pero pwedeng discuss ulit, no? The first is panel determines the compensable factors for the job. Then, pag yung panel na to, ito yung SMEs natin, yung subject matter experts natin. Okay? So, next, after nila identify yung compensable factor, the panel judges the degree to which each job has each compensable factor. And third, the points for the factors are summed for each job to provide a total score. Then, plotting of actual salaries for each job against points total for each job. Okay. So, ganun lang yung process natin para doon. So, next, comparable work. So, the requirement to pay men and women equal wages for jobs that are of comparable rather than strictly equal value to the employer. So here, it seeks to address the issue that women have jobs that are dissimilar to those of men, and those jobs are often consistently valued less than men's job. Alam nyo, ang unfair din minsan, no? Lalo na noong unang panahon, no? So, mas mataas madalas yung sahod ng mga kalalakihan kaysa sa mga kababaihan. So, as much as possible, i-conduct natin ng maayos yung job evaluation. Okay? Para hindi tayo naka-base sa dahil babae yung nagtatrabaho or lalaki yung nagtatrabaho. Naka-base dapat yung pay doon sa kung ano yung tatrabahuhin. Okay? Or kung ano yung worth ng isang trabaho sa kapay. Okay. So here, there are factors that lowering the earnings of women. Ano-ano yung mga nagpapababa sa sahod ng mga kababaihan? Women's starting salaries are traditionally lower, baba, no? And salary increases for women in professional jobs do not reflect their above average performance. Malungkot, no? In white-collar jobs, men change jobs more frequently. So, alam niyo naman, white-collar jobs, man in uniforms, yung mga matataas na posisyon, okay, that requires degree. So, minsan kapag babae daw yung nag-hold doon, madalas hindi nagtatagal, unlike sa mga kalalakihan, no? This one enabling them to be promoted to higher level jobs over women. Dahil mas nagtatagal mga lalaki sa mga white-collar jobs, mas napropromote sila compare sa mga kababaihan. Okay? In blue-collar jobs naman, women tend to be placed in departments with lower paying jobs. So this is based on research. Medyo nabawasan naman na ito ngayon, pero sa ibang setting, present pa rin. Okay? So that is all about compensation. So if you have questions about this topic, just type just type your question on the comment section so I can answer your questions. Okay? So that's it for this topic. Thank you for listening.